Today is Sunday, September 2nd, 2018, and we are recording an interview at the Villagomez Family Reunion in Houston, Texas.
My name is Denise Fillingame Guajardo, and I am a Villagomez.
So tell me, when and where were you born?
I was born in Houston, Texas, November 27th, 1967.
And do you know, how did your parents choose your name?
My dad actually always wanted a son named Scott and a daughter named Denise. And my mom and dad went back and forth with different names, but they ended up landing on Denise.
So he won.
He won.
Do you have any nicknames?
I do. My nickname is Boogie. It was given to me by Roy Garcia, my Aunt Annie's husband, before I could even walk. And it stuck. And everyone who knows me before I left for college calls me Boogie. Most of my extended family, if they don't know, if they try to call me something other than Boogie, they call me my sister's name.
Tell me about your parents. Who are they? Where are they from? And what do they do for a living?
Well, my mama is Maria Villagomez Fillingame, and she was born in Magnolia. She's the 12th child to Agustin and Enedelia Villagomez. And my dad was George William Fillingame, but everyone knew him as Phil. And he got that nickname in the military. And he was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, but he said he got to Houston as fast as he could. And they had a business for 40 years here in Houston, the Houston Alternator, where they rebuilt alternators and starters for industrial and commercial and non-commercial vehicles. And then my parents, in retirement, well, after they were empty nesters, decided that as a hobby they would open Hidden Oaks Bed and Breakfast, which my mom ran for 13 years, and now is our family home. It was our family home. Then it was the Hidden Oaks. Still Hidden Oaks, but now it's back to being just our family home again.
And your grandparents?
My grandparents on my dad's side were Robert Daniel Fillingame and Bertie Mae Fillingame from North Louisiana, both very Irish. And on my mom's side is Agustin and Enedelia. So they both came from Michoacan, from Morelia. My grandpa knew my grandma already when his parents brought him here, and he promised her that he would go back for her, and he did.
I'm curious. I know the family seems to know all of the history. When did they first tell you about your family history, like the Villagomez family?
Oh gosh, I think Grandpa always told us stories, which was really neat. And then Roseanne, thankfully, took an audio interview of him, which we've all really enjoyed. And then I have been doing genealogy in our family for about a little more than 20 years. And so I love our family history. It's just been really a big part of my life.
So you were born in Houston. What neighborhood did you grow up in?
All over. When I was really little, we lived close, not too far from here on the other side of town. And as my parents' business became more successful, we moved first to Sugar Land and then out to Spring. We probably stayed in Spring the longest. And then after my little brother passed away, we moved in town and stayed in a condo that my parents already owned for a year. Then we rented for another year, and then we landed in a home that my dad had fallen in love with years before, and that is Hidden Oaks. So, and we've been there ever since.
What's schools did you go to? You moved around, I guess.
Before I graduated, before I finished college, I had gone to 32 schools, including preschool. So, but I went to my freshman year. I went to Klein High School in spring, and then the last 3 years at Incarnate Word.
So what kind of family activities did you do growing up besides moving?
Besides moving, oh gosh, family activities mostly meant getting together with family. My parents had a lot of parties, and so there was lots of family at the parties all the time. It was always mostly family, and then some friends that came along that became family very quickly. So, yeah.
Any trips or vacations?
It was usually to visit my grandparents in Louisiana. So, yeah, because it was an 8.5-hour drive, and my dad didn't leave the business for very many days at a time. So yeah. When I was 16, I was part of the Mexico Bello, because Uncle George Bazan was a member, and they did a debutante ball. And because I was part of that, I already had 4 big white dresses and had pretty much done the quinceañera thing enough. And so instead of having my own quinceañera, I traveled with my mom, and we went to Europe, and we had a good time. Europe and the Mediterranean. We took a cruise in the Mediterranean and got to go to Egypt, and it was really neat. It was very awesome.
I know this may be a difficult question, but what are your favorite memories of your mom and of your dad?
My dad loved to tell jokes all the time, and so I think some of my best memories of him are actually after he was sick, and he still was making people laugh, even when he couldn't even talk. We had a system where we had the alphabet on a page, and he would indicate with his eyes or whatever he could still move, which side of the page the letter was on that the word started with. And that way, one letter at a time, he would look left, we'd fold the page in half, and then he would look up or down, and we'd fold the page in half, and process of elimination, he would get to the letter that was the first word. And he would spend 45 minutes just spelling a word so that he could tell us a joke. And he always loved to make people laugh. So, and he always thinks he was, and I loved watching him and my mom together, because they were just always very cariñosos. You could always tell how much he loved her, and vice versa. It was wonderful. It was a blessing to be raised in a loving family.
Were you close to your grandparents?
Yes, yeah. One of my favorite, I didn't get to know my grandma, Anadelia, very well, because she passed away before I was 1. But my grandpa, I think my favorite memory was that when I would go over, he would put me up on this little telephone bench that they had. He would stand me in the seat, and there was a chalkboard up on the wall, and he taught me how to draw in chalk on that board a swan with just one line without picking up the... And after the swan, he taught me how to draw a dead bird. So, also a jokester. So I still make this one and the dead bird to taught my kids how to do the same thing. So
you spent a lot of time with them?
We would go over there pretty much weekly. On Sundays after church, we would go and either pick up chicken and take it to them, or take them out to the Dinner Bell Cafe And yeah, but it was him and Rebe by then. So Rebe is really who I grew up with. And Annie was more like a grandma to me, but she passed away when I was 7. She would watch me when my parents were at work, and so she was probably more of a grandma figure to me than anybody. And then
What do you still have or keep from your childhood or from your parents or grandparents? Any items that you have?
I am currently hoarding items. It's actually on my heart to turn Hidden Oaks into, eventually, once my nest is empty, into a Villagomez museum. And so I have started collecting pieces. Yeah, I have my grandma's metate. I have my great grandma's molcajete. I have a papal blessing on Don Ramon y sus hijos. And that's, and plenary indulgence. I've got some peach pits that were carved by Uncle Ralph, and a little doll that was made by Maria Franco, who was my great grandmother on my mom's side. So the other side, and Adelia's mom, yes. And they called her Mama Kika. And so she would make dolls, usually with her own hair. And mine is not, it's got wool hair, but I mean, they have my doll even has dolls of her own, little bitty dolls on a little pillow. So, all by hand. So, that's really nice.
Story behind, were they made to sell, or they were just?
I think she just made them as gifts for family, but I'm not real sure. I'll have to find out. So, yeah, very neat.
Is there anything else you want to share about the Villagomez legacy or your family?
I just think it's amazing to get the opportunity to know your heritage, because when you know where you've come from, it's so much easier to see where you're going. And it's been a real blessing. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.